Today's compilation has the most unbelievable moments caught on camera. These clips range from unexplainable events happening around the world to some of the strangest videos ever.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
We have it all in this episode, so sit back and prepare to be entertained. The video is from an office in Spain, and it shows a man working overtime late at night. It was past 10 when his behavior suddenly took a disturbing turn. He started twitching unnaturally, almost as if he had lost control of himself. What made it creepier was that his eyes appeared to be glowing. Then, he turned directly toward the camera with a bone-chilling smile. The footage was cut off right after that. The office staff saw the recording and questioned him the next day, but he had no memory of it. Bizarre female ritual. In front of the Woodsville sales office in India, a group of Indian women were filmed sticking out their tongues and making high-pitched noises that echoed across the street. At first, it looked chaotic and unsettling, but this was actually part of a traditional festival ritual meant to ward off evil spirits and bring protection. What seemed bizarre at first was deeply rooted in centuries-old cultural practice. At least, that's what some of the comments were saying. Montana Orbs mystery. In this mysterious clip, a driver cruising through Montana, USA, captured multiple green orbs behind the clouds. These mysterious lights were going in a uniform pattern, as if moving towards one another. From this angle, it looked like a single stream of green light, but that wouldn't explain the multiple dots as seen in the clip. Now they could be multiple surveillance drones, but since it was out in the open and there was no festival nearby, that does seem highly unlikely to be the case. Which is why people were pointing towards Project Bluebeam or hologram tests being carried out. What do you think? Possessed woman. Posted on TikTok on 30th April 2025 by Annabelle Sobranat. The clip shows an eerie ritual taking place in a park. This wasn't a random event, by the way. It shows two men holding onto a woman who was under demonic possession. She wasn't able to contain her emotions and for the most part seemed to be lost somewhere else, mentally. These two men were trying to bring her back through chants and rituals. This event is done almost monthly in certain South Asian countries where people attend to save themselves from evil. As you can see, she started to gain consciousness, and near the end of the video, she was perfectly fine. Plant ignites matchsticks. There's a plant that does something wild. Bring a match close to it, and the match lights without touching anything. Put the plant in a glass of water, and the match still ignites when it's near. Scientists say they don't have an explanation for this reaction. No clear logic, no solid science given, just a baffling, unexplained moment. What do you think could be causing it? Miraculous healing. At Dunamis International Gospel Center, a man in a wheelchair was brought in for prayer and healing. Pastor Paul Enenche placed his hand gently on the man's head, and almost immediately, the atmosphere shifted. The man's body began convulsing, his face twisted as if some powerful force was struggling inside him. Witnesses could hear his screams and see the sheer intensity of what was happening. Then, in a dramatic moment, the pastor commanded the presence to leave. Almost instantly, the man's body relaxed, the force seemed to vanish, and he stood up, walking confidently without the wheelchair. The crowd erupted in awe, capturing a moment that felt both terrifying and miraculous, leaving everyone stunned by how quickly Pastor Enenche restored him. Glitched man.
Nick mine, bud, sharpest, mate.
Outside of a house in Scotland, someone started recording a bizarre human activity that confused many people online. There was an unknown man on the side of the road, completely stuck in a single position. He was a bit far away, and because of the beanie, it's almost impossible to identify what he looked like. After a while, a couple can also be seen walking on the other side, and a car drives towards the direction of this mysterious man. And that's when we got to see he wasn't on the side of the road, but right in the middle of a turn. He was stuck in a single position and didn't move an inch. So even if it was a person behaving strangely, being locked in like that has to be extremely difficult. The entire situation was very strange and looked a lot like a glitch in the Matrix.
What the?
Terrifying encounter. While walking through a park in South Korea, a man noticed a woman sitting on a bench. He thought she might need help and decided to approach her. But that was a huge mistake. When she lifted her face, her expression twisted into something disturbingly evil. Her behavior only grew stranger with time. Then, she started chasing him. That's when panic finally took over. He wondered if she was possessed, or something else was going on with her psychologically. But either way, he knew it was safer to stay away. So, he started backing away, while also refusing to take his eyes off her. Strange bird behavior.
Oh my god! I feel like that bird bot.
A few years back in Houston, Texas, hundreds of crows suddenly gathered outside a Walmart one evening. Dark wings filled the sky and rooftops all at once, and the sight didn't feel normal. To many, it seemed like a warning, as if something bad was on the way. The unusual scene left people uneasy, almost like nature itself was trying to send a message. Steaming streetlights. In China, something unusual has been happening with solar-powered streetlights. Out of nowhere, they start catching flames. If it happened once, people might ignore it, but it keeps happening along highways and roadsides. Some believe it's just a factory issue, but reports say the sun's rays are hitting those panels with odd strength, almost focused in certain spots. That strange detail makes the mystery harder to explain. Bizarre eye ability.
1, 2, do it. What the?
Comedian Hannah Stocking left her fans shocked when she shared a short clip that almost looked fake. On camera, she managed to shrink and widen her pupils at will, something most people can't do. Her friends watching nearby reacted with surprise. And just when it couldn't get stranger, she showed another talent, making one of her eyes move on its own, while the other stayed completely still. The unusual control over her eyes had viewers replaying the clip again and again.
Yeah?
Waves in air. This unbelievable footage was captured in Italy that shows perhaps the craziest optical illusion ever. There was a literal sea on top of a building, and even the waves were visible going from top of the road over the building from left to right. Now, some did agree it was a weird optical illusion. However, there was no beach nearby, so where exactly was this reflection even coming from? If you think it could be a pool, that still wouldn't explain the waves, as pools do not have consistent waves like this. Unusual creatures. A strange video online has left many people confused. It shows two odd creatures no one has seen before, with faces shaped like humans, but bodies that look like giant rats. The strange mix of features makes them hard to explain. Some think they might be the result of a failed experiment, while others believe they could be an entirely new species. Whatever they are, the video keeps people guessing and debating. Bigfoot sighting. In Utah, an old woman said she had seen a creature like Bigfoot. At first, nobody took her claims seriously, but only days later, another local spotted the same figure in the woods and even recorded it. After that, the town stopped doubting. For them, the mystery was settled. Bigfoot was walking their forests, and there was nothing they could do about it. Mysterious dark figure. During heavy rain, someone captured a strange sight on a river. It was a dark figure that was going against the current of the sea. Even the wind was in the opposite direction. If you look closely, this unidentified dark figure was not only running on water, but hopping across the surface. Zooming in does make it kinda look like a bird. Those do look like wings, but the feet, the way it was walking, and the unnoticeable head does make it difficult to call it one. So, what do you think it was? Mysterious sky video. In Peru, an eerie cloud suddenly appeared, sparking all kinds of theories. It wasn't normal. It was darker than the rest of the clear sky, almost like something was hiding inside, silently watching everything below. Then, as quickly as it came, the cloud disappeared without a trace. Witnesses were left wondering if it was just nature or something stranger in the sky. Well of creepers. A man came across one of the most spine-tingling sights on the planet. Thousands of weird, creepy crawlers were all over the inner wall of an abandoned well, somewhere inside a forest. The location isn't known, but he was jogging when critting noises caught his attention. I'm not sure what they even are. They look like grasshoppers, but their bodies and legs are too weird for a grasshopper. So, if you know the answer to it, kindly do let me know in the comments. Creepy hospital incident. This patient was brought in after his parents said he was getting sick. But once the doctors tried to help him, he started moving in jerky, unnatural ways that made everyone freeze. Nurses tried to contain him, but he seemed to be too unstable and could not be restrained because of his supernatural strength. His eyes were wide, his face tense, and he bounced on the bed in a strange rhythm. It took several staff members to restrain him, leaving witnesses shaken and wondering if it was purely medical or something far more unsettling. Red sky over Dubai. In Dubai, the night sky suddenly turned fiery red, leaving locals stunned. Out of nowhere, hundreds of strange objects seemed to fall from above, creating a surreal scene that looked pretty unbelievable, but a lot more eerie. It is a phenomenon that mostly happens during sunrise or sunset, due to the scattering of sunlight by atmospheric particles. It can also be caused by a lunar eclipse, but that's a less frequent event. Gold in Iraq. August skies in Iraq are always stunning, but this time they turned mysterious. The clouds glowed with a golden yellow tint, almost like autumn leaves scattered across the sky. Their shapes were odd, stitched together in strange patterns that didn't look like normal weather. For many watching, it felt less like nature and more like the sky revealing one of its hidden tricks. Hypnotic jellyfish. Deep in the ocean, the water hides something magical. Out of the darkness, a glowing shape drifts, shining in reds, blues, and golden sparks, almost like fireworks moving underwater. For a moment, it feels less like a sea animal and more like a vision from another world. But the mystery is actually a jellyfish, one of nature's brightest and most stunning surprises. Although the name wasn't mentioned, the clip is more than enough. Falling star. One night in Piauí, Brazil, a sudden streak of fire lit up the sky, leaving people amazed. The object looked like a glowing meteor, racing fast and leaving a bright trail behind it. Meteors are small pieces of space rock that burn as they hit Earth's atmosphere at high speed. This one was so bright it couldn't be ignored, and people quickly filmed the moment as the fireball briefly lit up the darkness. Glitching bag clip. Look at this plastic bag. At first, it seems like it's just drifting with the wind. But here's the strange part. There's no wind at all. The bag is moving completely on its own, and not just floating. It actually looks like it's walking, almost like something invisible is controlling it. Seeing something so ordinary act this way felt unsettling, leaving people puzzled over how a simple bag could turn into such a mystery. Introverted plant. In this clip, a group of boys place their hands on a plant, and right away, its leaves fold down, almost like magic draining them. For a moment, it looks like the boys' touch holds some strange power, making the plant lifeless in an instant. But the real story is even more fascinating. The plant is called Mimosa pudica, also known as the shy plant. It reacts to touch because of tiny pressure changes inside its cells, which makes the leaves close quickly and reopen later. This little trick gives it a playful, almost alive personality that surprises anyone who sees it. Florida Sky Mystery. Late one night in Florida, locals were stunned when the sky lit up with a strange, glowing light. It wasn't lightning or fireworks, but a mysterious object hovering above. For a moment, it almost seemed like something from outer space was arriving. The glow grew brighter, filling the night with an eerie mood, before it slowly faded away. Just as quickly as it appeared, the object vanished, leaving behind only questions.
Need to get the boys!
Africa's giant crack. In Kenya's Rift Valley, a massive crack suddenly opened up, tearing through roads and shocking locals. Scientists explained this isn't random. It's part of the East African Rift System, where the continent is slowly splitting apart. The Somali and Nubian tectonic plates are moving away from each other, creating fissures and even volcanic activity in some regions. This process takes millions of years, but eventually it could form a brand new ocean and divide Africa into two separate land masses. Levitating woman. A woman was walking into her home when she suddenly started to levitate. It wasn't on purpose. She just rose off the ground for a bit. She later posted the footage online and people were stunned. Some viewers blamed an unseen force. Others said it was a paranormal event. Either way, the clip felt like the house itself had something strange to show. Mysterious ocean light. Passengers on a cruise ship were brought to a sudden stop when the ship's engine suddenly stopped working. Passengers on the dock noticed a glowing shape under the water, which they believed was the reason for the halt. This mysterious light in the ocean didn't move much, and no light source could be seen that was causing this. It wasn't a marine animal as well, because bioluminescent creatures aren't seen on top of the water in the middle of the ocean. So what was this enigmatic light? American base UAP. Over a U.S. military base in Iraq, people were left stunned when a glowing jellyfish-shaped object appeared in the sky. It floated silently, with a see-through body that seemed to pulse as it drifted above the base. Witnesses watched in disbelief as it moved smoothly, then vanished without a trace. Its glow and unusual motion left everyone wondering if it was secret military tech, some kind of experimental drone, or something completely unknown. School sighting. Right outside of a school in Wentzville, Missouri, United States, a couple of students having their farewell noticed a long, shiny object in the night sky. It happened on the 23rd of September, 2022, when they were saying their final goodbyes, and seeing something like this got all of their attention. Eyewitnesses only reported what can be seen in the footage, and said that it disappeared in a blink of an eye like someone turned off a switch. Could it be they actually saw an alien craft? Because how else can anyone explain it instantly vanishing? Invisible cyclist. In the middle of an empty road, a man spotted a small cycle. At first, it seemed normal, but then it rolled forward all by itself. The motion was smooth, almost like an invisible person was riding it. It even stopped in the middle, and then started moving again, which was the strangest part of the entire video. The man stood frozen, unsure how to react. The strange sight gave off an eerie feeling, leaving behind the thought that maybe something unseen was at play. Unidentified object.
Then I look up here to the sky, see something falling down, so I pulled out my phone and I zoomed in and it was right about there.
In Pembroke, Massachusetts, Colleen McCormack noticed something odd in the sky. A small glowing object appeared, falling fast as if it were burning. She quickly filmed it, capturing about 8 seconds before it suddenly vanished. No debris was found, and there was no clear explanation. The mysterious sight left her and others wondering what exactly had lit up the sky that day.
My heart was pounding because I just looked up. I'm oh God, what is about to happen right now?
Moving bottle. During a televised meeting in Argentina, an odd moment caught everyone's attention. A water bottle suddenly slid across the desk with no one close enough to touch it. The Minister of Economy noticed and gave a faint smile, which only added to the mystery. Some viewers joked he had hidden powers, while others suggested it was just a draft of air or the bottle being unbalanced. The timing was strange enough to leave people debating what really happened. Man becomes guard dog. In Brighton, 2 thieves crept up to a parked car late at night, not realizing the homeowner was watching. Suddenly, he stormed out of the house, yelling in a furious voice and chasing them off. He had started barking at the thieves to scare them off. And it worked because the 2 panicked and ran, leaving the car behind. The whole thing was caught on CCTV and quickly spread online. Some thought his aggressive reaction was risky, while others said it was smart. But either way, it stopped the crime. Guardian bird angel. One night, a man was driving down a quiet road when a bird suddenly hit his car, forcing him to slam the brakes. At first he was annoyed, wondering why it happened, but then he looked ahead and froze. Right past where he stopped was a steep drop, most likely a giant sinkhole that had opened just minutes prior in the middle of the road. In the strangest way, that bird may have just saved his life. Robotic lifeguard.
Everything you goddamn it think you see is real.
At a public pool, a family filmed a lifeguard whose stiff, mechanical movements caught everyone's attention. Her head moved back and forth non-stop, scanning the water like a camera. Online, people joked she was some kind of robot. Experts later explained it's called Ellis scanning, a strict method lifeguards use to watch every inch of the pool. Whether robotic or just trained, it definitely made viewers look twice.
She got eyes behind her lens, behind her eyeball.
Creepy woman. An Instagram clip quickly spread online, showing a man climbing over a tall gate with eerie speed. He moved so smoothly it looked unnatural, almost inhuman. The unsettling part is no one knows who he was or why he was there. No backstory, no follow-up, just a creepy video that left people with more questions than answers. Strange street sight. On a street in Ipoh, Malaysia, a local captured something really unbelievable. A man walking along with no head. He moves calmly, as if nothing is wrong, while people around him barely notice. The footage is clear, so it's not an obvious camera glitch, leaving viewers divided between a technical error or something far stranger. Either way, the clip created a quiet, eerie moment that had everyone replaying it again and again. Eerie elevator incident. A surveillance camera in an elevator captured a strange moment. A woman stepped in and checked her reflection like any normal ride. Then, suddenly, she jerked as if grabbed, slapping at empty air. Her face showed pure terror, and she stumbled trying to protect herself from something no one else could see. People outside the elevator had no contact with her, leaving viewers unsettled and wondering what really happened. Unnerving girl. In China, a driver was suddenly stopped by a young girl acting completely strange. Her movements were unsettling, her stare empty but intense. She didn't speak, just froze and twisted in ways that didn't feel normal. The driver was caught off guard, barely able to react, while her odd behavior continued. People who saw the clip online were convinced something unusual or even sinister was going on, leaving everyone uneasy. Spider invasion. In southern Australia, something truly creepy unfolded. Thousands of spiders suddenly appeared, covering fields, trees, fences, almost everything in sight. After the ground got too wet, the arachnids climbed upward, spinning giant sheets of silk that made the landscape look like a ghostly, web-covered world. It was both fascinating and unsettling, as if nature had flipped a switch and turned the countryside into a living spider kingdom. One look at it, and it felt straight out of a horror movie. Glowing beach. A seemingly ordinary night walk on a beach in Vayavu Atoll, Maldives, quickly turned surreal. The sand began to glow with every step, leaving shimmering blue trails behind. It looked like magic, but the truth was even more amazing. The glow came from bioluminescent plankton, tiny organisms that emit light when disturbed. Their millions of sparkling movements turned the shoreline into a natural, glowing masterpiece, creating one of the most magical sights in the world. Subscribers pick. In Algeria, bystanders gathered to record a mountain releasing a strange, white-colored mud-like substance. At first glance, it looked like the ground was bleeding salt, since some regions here are naturally covered in thick salt deposits. Another possibility is gypsum sand, known for creating large white dune fields. But what unsettled viewers wasn't just the material, it was the way it gushed out. It poured from one single spot, while other nearby openings stayed completely dry. That odd detail made the scene look far less like a normal geological process, and more like a mysterious phenomenon no one could easily explain.